So I'm going to be working on the KLX110 again. I have the jet kit right here. I have the air filter all cleaned, and I have some spray oil for it. Basically in the last video, if you haven't watched it, this is a 05 KLX110 with a FMF powercore 4 full system and a uni pancake style filter. The kid told me it was jetted for both of those things, and it's not. So that's why we have the jet kit. I'm going to end up doing a 42 pilot and a 95 main. Mainly, that's what BBR suggests for the stock displacement. No big bore kit, just those two things. Also, in the last video, I ended up cleaning the carb out. Thing was completely filthy because the person that put the air filter on didn't have it oiled, and that there's just chunks of dirt coming out of everywhere. So that's taken care of. But before I put the bike on the stand and get this started, I'm going to actually show you guys how hard it is to start this thing when it's cold. It has been started in about a week and a half, maybe a little more, give or take. But yeah, it's a pain in the ass to get it started when it's cold. So we'll go through that, and I'll get it up on the stand and put these jets in, and hopefully it'll make it better. Oh, I thought I left the choke closed, but anyway, choke's on. Turn this to run. See, how I always like to forget that step. Make sure the wash plug isn't in, because I also like to forget that step also. But usually this thing don't like to start unless I give it gas, but I'm just gonna try it with without it. It's going. Alright, I'm just gonna give it gas. See, and then it occasionally does that, but I'm going to turn the choke off and see if it still has the lean bog that it has going from full idle to full throttle. Also, see if it stays running. No, you can tell it's wanting to die. I turned the idle up already twice, but because it's not getting the right amount of fuel, it just keeps shutting off. See, that's what it does. So if you don't know, that's called a lean bog, and pretty much what's happening is when it switches over from the pilot jet to the main, it's in both cases not getting enough fuel. Sometimes it's just the pilot, but like I said, the BBR suggests the bigger main, so I'm going to also put that in. And thing rides pretty good right now. Like I said, I weigh 250, and this thing it pulls me like nothing. It's definitely way more responsive than it was before I cleaned the carb, but so that's how it's running right now. Not too bad, but there's still an issue. Also, that was without the air filter, so it's definitely getting way more air than what it should. But I'm gonna get this thing up on the stand and start digging into it. So the bolts to get the carb off are 8mm. Thing's a little bit more wobbly there than I would like it to be. But mostly for this, you don't actually have to take the whole carb completely out. You just take it off the intake, tilt it sideways, take the bowl off, take the jets out, put the new ones in, and reverse order, put it back together. There's one. I'm going to go around, take the other side out. So that one's out. Now I'm just going to tilt this to the side and see what I have to work with. Overflow tubes always get in the way. That's perfect. Alright, so let me pop the bowl off real quick. When you do this, there's probably still going to be a little bit of gas, so definitely make sure you got like a rag or something. Off, just a little bit of residual. I'm just gonna dump that out. And when I took the screw out of the bottom of the bowl to drain all the gas out, I had it in a little, like a one of those little bottles used for like ketchup and mustard, with the clear ones. And for some reason, there's still water in the gas. I mean, I didn't completely empty out all the old gas. I got most of it, as much out as I could, and then just filled it with fresh 93. So eventually that'll go away, but if not, I'm just gonna have to take the tank off and empty it out, clean it all out really good, and just go from there. But so there's a variety of different size jets these things come with, and for this model it came with a 40 pilot and a 85 main, and BBR suggests a 42 pilot and a 95 main. But And the stock main size can range anywhere from 80 to 85. And I always thought 38 was the pilot that came stock with these, but I guess it's 38 or 40 on some models. So who knows? Curious to see if this is plugged up again or not. Let me go outside real quick, see if I can see any light coming through. Yeah, there's still light coming through, so it's clean. But with these, the hole is so small, if you don't have it completely straight, it's pretty much possible to see that there's light coming through, so you might actually think that it's completely clogged when it really isn't. But that's that. I'm going to take this main out real quick. Get the bigger side. There. I swear everything wants to turn into a battle around here. This is out. That's still clean. But if you didn't know, with these bikes, the main jet on them is ridiculously small. So if you ever go to anywhere to get a jet for it, make sure it's actually for a KLX110 or a DRZ110. Otherwise, you're going to be like me and just be like, oh yeah, no, just the numbers right. But obviously, I had kept in mind that the carburetor on these is smaller, but I didn't think the jets were going to be that small. So the ones I got might fit my son's four-wheeler. If not, the rest of them from this kit will, because I know that thing has an intake. And I think the header or the exhaust on it might be drilled out. I haven't actually taken it off yet, but it sounds way louder than it should be. So that's actually a good thing, because then I can rejet that and get that thing running right too, because that thing does not like to idle or start easily also. So yeah, never ends. Please don't let me drop any, especially the one I need. That's a 90. There you go. Here's 95. It's 45. 38. 40. So it's already in there. 35. Where's my 42? There we go. 42. So I'm just going to throw these back in the bag. Then I'm going to compare the holes in the openings and see how much difference Actually, a pretty big difference. I'm not going to show it on camera, but that thing is significantly bigger. And on the bottom, that's weird. The hole for the 40 actually looks bigger on the bottom than the one on top. Or the new jet, I should say. But the hole on top is definitely way bigger. Ooh, same with the main jet. Not too much of a difference, but with these, it's not like it's going to be flooding itself out or anything, but there is a pretty good difference. But I'm going to throw these back in. I don't know if I'm going to film it because I'm kind of pressed for time, so I just want to get it done. But then I also put this back together. I got to oil the filter, give that a little bit of time to dry. So I'm going to get that done real quick, and I'm going to start it up. Hopefully it starts and actually stays idling. If not, I'm going to turn the idle up again, depending, or I'm just going to have to play with the air fuel screw, which I don't think I'm going to have to. Like I said, this thing wasn't jetted for what it was supposed to have been. Bike's all back together. I have the air filter over here. I just sprayed it with oil, worked it all in, so I'm kind of giving that time to not really dry out, but just let all the excess, if there is any, just kind of like dry up a little bit. And then start this thing up, see if it works any better, and if it does, I'm going to go for a little test ride. But first thing I do whenever I take the carb apart off or anything, especially tilting up on the side, is one, make sure that little rod that goes through that holds the float on, make sure that's all back in the center and it's not coming out on one side or whatever. And then just turn the fuel on, wait a couple seconds, make sure nothing's going to come out of the overflow, make sure everything's good there, and then I try to start it. So I'm going to pick this back up when I have the air filter. What is it with that word? I swear I can speak English, but yeah, I'm going to pick that back up when that's on, and then start it up. Alright, so I had everything back together, air filter's on, doesn't hit against anything really except this clutch hose, but no, now it's good. Well, I'm going to start off with turning the gas on, like I said, make sure nothing runs out. I think we're good there. I'm going to try it with a choke on, even though it's just running not too long ago. See what happens. Let's try it with the choke off now. Maybe it still needs the choke, I don't know. I'm definitely going to have to turn the idle up, but it almost seems like now it's running rich. So I don't know. Probably going to have to take this thing back apart now. Put that 85 back in. Leave the 42 pilot in and just turn the idle up on it. That's probably what I'm going to have to do. But I guess now, if you do have to rejet your bike, just start off the area that you think it's the most troublesome. 'Cause before, with the 85 in, this thing was running pretty good on when the main jet opened up, and then, like I said, just the idle was horrible, and I had that lean bog. But I have a feeling when I put the 85 back in and leave the 42 in, should be good. But just for ha-has, I want to take this thing for a little ride. I'm not going to film it, but just because I'm kind of pressed for time. I got other stuff to do in my truck, but I am going to hurry up and try getting this 85 back in. So let me grip this thing real quick. Alright, so back again, and I was going through my pack of jets that I got, and I decided instead of putting the 85 back in, I just went with the 87, next size up. Hopefully it should be a lot better, because the bike needed more fuel at idle. It also needs more fuel at wide open throttle or anything past when the idle jet is operating. Obviously it's getting more air, it's got the exhaust, so everything's back together. So I'm just going to turn the fuel on real quick, make sure nothing's leaking on the other side, start it up, and hopefully it's better. You can tell by the last part of the video, the thing was running so rich, you can see all the black smoke coming out of the exhaust. So BBR, you guys are some liars. Alright, so I think we're good. I'm going to try it without the choke, and then like I said, I'm still gonna have to turn the idle up, but as far as the whole overall running, I'm gonna see what's going on with that first. Oh, maybe we're getting somewhere. Well, honestly, as far as the whole thing goes, you can definitely tell it's running a lot better. It's not skipping on high end like it was before, but I think there is the slightest little bit of hesitation still going from idle to full throttle, cracking the throttle. So instead of going up one more on the pilot jet, I'm going to leave it how it is, and I'm going to have to get an adjustable needle and see if that will help. But again, I'm going to mess around with the idle right now a little bit, and then I'm going to go for another test ride. But so far it seems like it's a little bit more responsive than it was. Honestly, most better than what it would have been with the 85. Just for ha-has, I want to see if this thing actually starts back up without the idle or throttle. said, seems pretty good, but I'm gonna hurry up and go take it for a test ride, and then I'll come back and play the idle because I need a screwdriver in my hand. Almost burnt myself again. And you can also tell that it's still smoking pretty good, so I think this thing needs a top end soon. But I'll cross that bridge when it comes to it. Well, as you can hear, it's idling on its own now. But I think I was turning the idle screw the wrong way. Usually you got to turn it in to turn the idle up. But maybe it took a little bit for the bike to get used to the jet end adjustment. But so far it seems a little bit more ballsy with both the jets in. So I think I'm going to leave it the way it is right now. You can still hear the hiccups it has. Like I said, it still has that little bit of hesitation going from idle to whatever, but it's not as bad as it was. It's not enough to kill the bike, and you know, I really don't want to have to keep taking the carb off of this thing, so I guess I'm just gonna leave it right now. But I can't leave the video off without letting you guys see me tear the yard up with this. Let me set it up. I'm just gonna go take another lap, but before I do that, I want to shut this off and see if it's going to start back up without me giving it throttle. It would help if I put it back to run, huh? There we go.